On the Chapter 6 study guide, the correct answer to number 1 is 0.15. Number 2, the correct answer is 0.022. For 1 and 2, just move each decimal 2 places to the left. For number 3, the correct answer is 980%. Number 4, the correct answer is 67%. For 3 and 4, just move each decimal point 2 places to the right. For numbers 5 and 6, initially put each percent over 100. So for number 5, we have 16 over 100. To reduce, just divide each number by 4. Four over 25 is the correct answer to number 5. Number 6, do the same thing. Put 0.38 over 100. Here, you have to move each decimal point 2 places to the right in order to change the numerator into a whole number. Our revised fraction is 38 over 10,000. Reduce by 2. Our final answer to number 6 is 19 over 5,000. Number 7 and 8, change each fraction to a percent, and for number 8, round your answer to the nearest whole percent. For both problems, divide. So let's look at number 7 first. Set up the division. And since we already know we need our answer as a percent, go ahead and move the decimal point at the end of 19 2 places to the right. To begin, 50 can go into 190 3 times. Bring down your 0. 50 into 400 goes 8 times. Final answer for number 7, 38%. For number 8, do the same thing. Set it up as a division problem. And like we did with number 7, move the decimal point inside 2 places to the right. That way you won't forget to do it at the end, because we are looking for the percent. $17 into 110 will go 6 times. $17 into 80 goes 4 times. The directions say round your answer to the nearest whole percent. The 4 is currently in the ones place, so we need to add another 0 and divide one more time. 17 into 120 will go 7 times. And we can stop and round our answer. Right, this would make it 65%. For questions 9 through 11, solve each percent problem. Use any method, but show all of your work, including any multiplication and/or division. For each problem, I will show you both methods we discussed in class, the proportion method and what I'm starting with now, the equation method. So for question 9, 35% of 120 is what? With the equation method, change your given percent into a decimal. We have 0.35. Of is your multiplication symbol. Bring down the 120. Is your equal sign. And what is your unknown? All we need to do here to solve for n is multiply 120 times 0.35. Now, after we place the decimal in the right spot, we end up with 42. For those of you who like proportions, here is the setup. We have our formula percent over 100 equal to is over of. Now let's fill in the given information. The percent is 35. If you use this method, you don't have to convert your percent into a decimal. Where would 120 go? Right, 120 will go in place of. And we can let n represent the unknown, or is. I'm not going to finish solving this, but when you cross multiply and divide, you would get the same answer, 42. Number 10, 25% of what is 32? Again, you can use either method. I'm going to translate this into an equation. The 25% changed to 0.25. Of is your multiplication. What is what you're looking for? The unknown. Is your equal sign. And bring over the 32. Now, to solve this particular equation, what would you do? Right, you would divide both sides, in this case, by 0.25. So off to the side, let's set up our problem. Before dividing, move each decimal point 2 places to the right. Now we can divide. 25 into 32 will go one time. "25 into 70 will go two times. Bring down your 0. Finally, 25 can go into 200 8 times. So our final answer is exactly 128. For those of you who like the proportion method, you could solve it that way. It would be set up as 25 over 100 equal to 32 over n. And then you would just solve, cross multiply, and divide like you normally would. So again, for number 10, if you like the proportion method, this would be the correct setup. Number 11, 62 is what percent of 48? For this one, let's use the proportion method, but you can certainly use the equation method too. Let's write down our percent formula, proportion formula first. Percent over 100 equal to is over of. Now let's fill in our given information. Right, the percent is the unknown, so in place of your percent sign, put your n. The other side, 62 over 248. Now you have the correct proportion. The next step is cross multiply. So we have 248n equal to 62 times 100, or 6,200. To solve for n, divide both sides by 248. Again, whatever number is on the same side as your letter, that's what you would divide both sides by in the equation. The advantage is that you don't have to move any of the decimals or add any other zeros. So let's divide 248 into 6,200. 248 into 620 will go two times, giving us 496. Bring down your 0. Matter of fact, 248 can go into 1,240 5 times exactly. Our final answer to question number 11 is 25%. As I mentioned earlier, you could translate your problem into an equation and solve it that way. Let me show you the setup. $62 is, is your equal sign. What is what we're looking for? That's our n. Of is your multiplication sign. And bring down the 248. To solve for n, right, divide both sides by 248. Again, I'm not going to finish this problem this way, but be mindful that if you use this method, you would have to move your decimal point on the inside to convert your answer to a percent. Next up, let's look at the word problems. Number 12, Sid buys a used car for $2,500. The sales tax rate is 8%. Find the total price for his car. You could use the is over of proportion formula, but a shortcut will do just as fine. Take 2,500 times, change your rate to 8% into 0.08. Putting the decimal in the right spot, we end up with $200. $200 represents the amount of sales tax, but we need to find the total price for the car. Right, add the $200 to the $2,700. Therefore, the total purchase price, sales tax included, actually should be $2,700. I apologize for my mistake. Right, so the total price, sales tax included, should have been $2,700. Question 13. Mary Ann's annual income is $32,000. She spends $7,680 per year on housing. What percent of her annual income is spent on housing? Anytime you're asked to find the percent, you're looking to set this up as a fraction. So we take 7,680 over 32,000. And just divide. Now 32,000 cannot go into our numerator, so we need to add a decimal and a zero. Or what you could do is move your decimal point 2 places to the right. 32,000 into 76,800 will go 2 times. Giving us 64,000. $32,000 can go into 12,800, right, 4 times exactly. Now, if you didn't move your decimal point at the beginning, that's fine. You can certainly move it now. So, the percent of Mary Ann's annual income that was spent on housing was 24%. You could certainly use the proportion formula to solve this problem also. Number 14. A computer sells for $90, which is 15% of the original price. Find the original price of the computer. I apologize, I think I said copier by mistake. I meant computer if I said that wrong. We're still trying to find the original price of the computer. Now, you can use any method you prefer. I set this up as an equation. $15% of the original price is the sale price. What is the unknown? Right, the original price is what we're looking for, which is directly behind the word of. Now, this is not always the case where a keyword is present that can help you out, so you might have to rely on your own experiences with sale price and original price. Let's translate this and solve. 15%, change that to 0.15. Your of is your times symbol. The original price is what we're looking for, so that's our letter. Your is your equal sign. And the sale price was given as $90. Now, to solve for n, divide both sides by 0.15. So let's take 0.15 and divide it into 90. Again, move the decimal point 2 places to the right from the outside. And do the same thing with the inside decimal. And you have to add 2 zeros inside the house. To start, 15 can go into 90 6 times. And really, you don't have to bring down the other zeros. You can actually move them to the top. So our final answer, or the original price, is $600. If you want to use the proportion method with the same problem, that's fine. Let me show you the setup. We have 15 over 100 equal to, there is no number behind of. If you look in the first sentence, it says 15% of the original price. So of is your unknown. And in place of is, plug in 90. When you cross multiply and solve for n and divide, you would still get $600 for the original price. Finally, number 15. Use the circle graph on the right to answer number 15. Out of 4,500 students polled at a local college, how many like country music? Don't give the percent, set up and solve the problem. According to the circle graph, 12% like country music. So what we need to find is 12% of 4,500. Now you can use a proportion, but a shortcut will do just as fine again. So let's translate this. 0.12 times 4,500. So let's multiply this out. So we put the decimal where? Right after the first zero. So we can say that 540 students like country music. Again, with this last question, you could also use a proportion. The setup would be 12 over 100 equal to n over 4,500.